it started. Okay, let's see if I can go over to editor now. Oh, look at that. It worked. It worked, and we are live. Look at this. I'll put that on live chat, as everybody should do. And hello, everybody. We are live. We've got the Eddie cam going. Oh, you can see Eddie. He's got his head under the little truck down there.
Hanging out with Daddy's.
Yeah, just hanging out with
Daddy's
pressed steel.
Pressed steel toys.
We had to educate you on the difference between pressed steel and die cast. Yeah. Hopefully everybody can hear us. It looks like the microphone is working.
And if you don't hear us,
let us know, but you should be able to hear us.
Wow, what a week.
Oh, it's been I don't even know where to start.
What a week. It was a super busy week. Oh my goodness.
Mayor Dan's here.
Mayor Dan. Well, first of all, let's just say it right now. Thank you, Mayor Dan and your wonderful wife Linda for inviting us to your 4th of July party. It was very nice. It was a wonderful cookout with extraordinarily beautiful fireworks, which I think one of your daughters said it, and I said too. I said, yeah, we've seen Disney fireworks, but those were great fireworks.
Yeah. Up
close and personal.
It was not your typical backyard fireworks show. It was like among the it was like something a professional did put it on.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you saw the thumbnail. The thumbnail was just a picture I took during the fireworks show, so that gives you an idea.
It was a wonderful time. We saw Jeremy and Kaylin there. We got to meet Cousin Barb. She was an absolute hoot. If you are a member of What the Hells, he did do a video. Check it out. It'll make you laugh if you didn't see it live. Okay, that's all I can say.
John wanted to know if I'm broke. Yeah, I'm starting to get. I'm getting there.
Broke.
But well, I guess I'll start with.
Let's start. Okay,
We'll get back around to the.
Well, we got to go to the beginning of the week.
Yeah, that was just last night. So we got to go to the beginning of the week. And nothing really happened at the beginning of the week. It really started Wednesday when I went to the auction for Dean was putting it on.
Dean.
And I'm not gonna say his last name because Linda
or whatever. Yeah. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it because my stepmom needed a ride somewhere, so I needed to take her on a ride. But you got to go to the auction, and what happened at the auction?
Well, I bought some toys off of J&J.
Does anybody have any open bedroom in your house or anything I can move into? Because I'm slowly going to be losing
I haven't brought the toys into the house yet. So
I'm getting ready to lose my spot in the bed,
well, when I get to the point
I need someplace to sleep.
I sold some of my toys, but I'm getting to that.
All right. Okay. I'll leave you alone. Go ahead.
So I bought like a toy box full of pressed steel toys off of J&J. And that was out of his Chardon unit that he just got. And of course, as he was going through it, he texted me pictures of these things. So, we had to put together a deal for that. So, and that probably made their video. So if you look at their video, you'll see, where I bought those.
Thank you, J&J. Just make sure you keep a room open for me.
It's not that bad.
I may need to move in.
There's room down here for you to sleep if you want.
Actually, you did make a little bit more room for me. Yes, you did. I can't complain about that.
There was, I think, 10 units there. They all smelled like cat piss.
Oh, on a warm summer day.
On a warm summer day, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There was some, I found out later, there were, buried in all the cat peed smelling stuff with some good items, but I didn't really go there to buy a unit. I went there to, enjoy the
camaraderie,
the friendship of the people that were there,
and lessen J&J's load on pressed steel toys.
Well, I mean, they had to get it out of their truck because they had bought a unit there.
Well, that's another reason.
Yeah.
There you go.
So they had to deal with that. So anyway, I had fun Wednesday, and we talked about that a little bit Thursday on AA.
All right, yeah, but I went to bed
early. And then Thursday during the day, we actually got ready for the flea market.
And it
Friday.
was beautiful outside. I mean, there was a project that I had outside on the patio for a little while because, well, it just wouldn't stop raining, or it was just way too hot and humid. I finally got a chance to work on as we were getting the trailer ready for the trip to Rogers Flea Market on Friday. Yep. So it was beautiful outside. Eddie was out there running in the yard. You were grabbing toys, and I was...
Basically what I did, and I don't think I ever released the video for this, but we went up to the Detroit area A couple years ago. I mean, we still had Sammy.
It's been about...
It was before Sammy got sick.
Yeah.
It's been about 2 years now. And I bought a whole trailer load of pressed steel toys. And it was about 90% stuff that I really didn't have that much interest in, but I knew I could resell. Mm-hmm. About 10% of it was stuff that I really wanted to do something with. And but I got it. I forget what I paid for it. Do you remember what I paid for it?
Honey, I can't even remember.
I know we went up there twice, actually.
Twice.
We went up there the first time.
He had 2 loads to Sully.
I went up there
Conkys.
the first time with the trailer, and we loaded it up, and I just gave him straight cash. And the second time I went up, I actually traded some Hot Wheels for what I got.
Yeah.
So this is, I think, all stuff from the first load. Anyway, we brought it back, and it was all sitting in the garage for the last couple of years. And I said, well, we're going to Rogers. You know, in my thoughts tomorrow, but it was yesterday. And I said, we're going to Rogers, and I'm going to take some of this big press steel stuff and see if I can sell it. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, the one video that I did do on the model kits, in the background of the video, you saw this big, and I can't even hold my arms out that wide. It was a custom-built monogram 18-wheeler. And I think I paid... I bought it at Young's, and I think I paid about $20 for it. Mm-hmm. And I took that to the flea market because there's no way we were going to sell that thing on eBay and ship it and have it survive the shipping.
I know. One of the first thing that I sold was a Wilton 3-tier cupcake tree, we call those. And, you know, when you start looking at bigger stuff, you realize that the shipping costs get a little higher. And recently, I just read, I know we got a notification that starting, I think, July 13th, I could be off on that date, that the USPS is raising their priority mail rates. And in some instances, it might be a 51% increase. So if you're going to be paying $8, it's going to end up being $12. So your mindset's like, okay, what can I take that isn't going to be such a shipping nightmare? And that was the one thing I took, and luckily that thing was the first thing I sold. And
one of the first things I sold was that giant semi-truck. And I sold it to somebody who collected a specific brand of trucks called Smith Miller. And I was talking to him, and I said, now, did you see where, I said, I went through a house in Atwater, and there was a collection there that involved these Smith Miller trucks. And I said, have you seen that online? He says, well, no, I only look in the farm and dairy for auctions. He says, that's the only place that the auctions are advertised. So I educated him a little. He was a veteran. I educated him a little bit on the interwebs and how those work. And when I started telling him where this house was, he says, oh, I didn't know. He knew the guy that owned the collection that Rob is now selling on his website. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, I didn't know he passed away. I said, no, he didn't die. He's in a home. But I started to tell him how to find the collection on the interwebs.
So hopefully he can get that figured out, and
hopefully he can bid on some of that collection
Smith
because
Miller,
I think he was interested in it. And anyway, so I sold the big model truck to him, mm-hmm. and I had taken out a big scale 1/8 scale Corvette model kit that hadn't been put together. And they sell pretty good on eBay, but same thing. I didn't want to ship the big thing, and I had it out there, and I had $100 on it. And a lot, I mean, a dozen people looked at it. So finally, a guy comes and looks at it, and he's looking at the box. And I said, this guy's leaving with, I said to myself, this guy's leaving with this thing, I don't care. So he said, what do you want for it? And I said, I've got $100 on it, but I'm not in love with it. And he started to act like I said, just make me an offer. And he started to act like he didn't want to make me an offer. I said, look, just make me an offer. I said, I'm not in love with this thing, I don't want to leave with it. He says, $40? I said, give me your money. I didn't care at that point. I didn't spend that much on it anyway. I still made money on it. It's just, as the day goes on, you've got to, if you really want to sell this stuff, you really got to, adjust your pricing into something that's more realistic for where you are and what you're doing. So I sold that.
Yeah, it was a beautiful day. A beautiful day yesterday here in Northeast Ohio. Sunshine, mid-80s. Light breeze, It was busy down there between. Well, usually the prime
we
time.
got up at 4:30.
We got up at 4:30. Very important. We got up at 4:30 in the morning.
We left at 5:30. We got down there about
6:40-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're setting up, and there's nothing more wonderful as you're setting up. People are stopping by. I mean, the place was already.
Yeah, it was already pretty.
Buzzing.
We should have been there. We should have actually gotten there about an hour earlier because 90% of the vendors were set up, and there were a lot of people walking around buying it.
Right. So yeah, usually the prime time of any flea marketing is between 7 and 11.
Yes.
Maybe noon if you want to stretch it a little bit, but that's your prime time. And that's when you want to be ready to rock and roll. And it was a beautiful morning. We saw the sunrise.
Our friends were there. We didn't know.
Oh yeah, Rod and Julie. We saw them. She was looking around for Fettin cats. Fettin cats is the thing that she collects, and those are getting harder and harder to find. But she did find some couple items there. So it was just a wonderful day. What was really funny was, I think Rogers down there was going all out for the holiday. And in a big tent, like you would see at a wedding or something, that was kind of across the way from us, they were hosting two what I would call C-list celebrities. One kid, the kid from the Christmas store, the one that stuck his tongue on the pipe, whatever, that got
on
stuck.
The pole, yeah.
Yeah, on the pole. Got stuck. He with the flagpole. He was there. An actress that played Kirk Cameron's girlfriend in Growing Pains was there. And it was just, and then they were setting up for a concert. I mean, they had a big it was just, they were going all out. Whatever they could to get people down there yesterday, they were doing it.
So we rented 2 spots.
Mm-hmm.
And the total was like $50 for 2 spots. So
I'll be right back, honey.
Which was nice because, while you're gone, I'll tell them the story.
Tell the story.
Which was nice because it made it easier for us just to pull the car in and leave the car hitched up to the trailer and everything. And, I'll tell you the story now. So it comes time for us to eat a little bit of, I call it breakfast, but we had some Lunchables with us and some water. So she says, "You want your Lunchable?" And I said, "Well, you eat yours first, and then, I'll watch the tables while you're eating, and then while I'm eating, you can watch the tables." So she eats hers. And I take her packaging, and I go, there's a little trash receptacle right there by her booth. So I take it and throw it away. So about the time she gets done, she has to take a walk and use the facility, so to speak. And while she was up and using the facilities, I'm sort of munching on my Lunchable. A piece of cheese, a piece of turkey, and a cracker, and there were 2 cookies. So I open it up so I can get to the crackers and the cookies and the cheese. Excuse me, the crackers, the turkey, and the cheese. Cookies were still sealed. And I ate all that. Well, I start to get busy, and people are showing up, and I'm talking to potential buyers. So this may have been while I was selling the Corvette model kit I was just telling you about. Noreen comes back, and I see her over by the trash can throwing something away. So I get down, I collect the money from my model kit, and I walk back. I'm looking forward to eating my cookies. I'm like, where's the Lunchable pack with the cookies? He goes, you threw mine away, so I threw yours away. Like, well, did you take the cookies out? No, I thought you were done. Like, well, there were 2 cookies in there. So I did not get my cookies yesterday at the flea market. I'll tell you what I ate later, at Mayor Dan's, but so she throws away my cookies. But I have to forgive her for that because I pulled an even bigger bonehead move while we were down there. And that was when we got there, shortly after we got there. It was still cool. And unfortunately, the car we drove down there, the air conditioner doesn't work in. It works in the 2 cars that I'm putting together, but it does not work in the car we drove down there. It's like, well, I'm going to roll all the windows down, I'm going to crack the sunroof so that the heat doesn't build up inside this car. So I turn the key on, I roll all 4 windows down, I shut the key off, and then I start thinking, well, I want to do the sunroof. So I turn the key back on, and I crack the sunroof. And then I get out of the car. And I don't hear a peep out of the car until we're loading up everything. and I hear it has a dash cam that's wired in so that when the car is on, it records the front and the back. And I hear the dash cam popping on and off. It makes a noise. And the dash cam is coming on and going off, coming on and going off. And it's making this noise. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I didn't think anything of it until we had the everything taken down, all the totes, everything loaded in the trailer and everything locked up. We go to get in the car, and I go to start. I go to grab the key, and it's already in the on position. Like, oh, that's what the dash cam was doing. The battery was dying. So the battery in this car was completely dead. And I couldn't even, couldn't roll the windows up at that point or anything. So I sent Noreen to, because at that point we wound up doing like $500 in sales. So there's like $600 in our cash box, like in the car. So it's like, I can't walk away from the car. So I asked Noreen to go find somebody at the office to come out and give us a jump.
And luckily, I didn't have to go too far because I found a group of, there was two those golf carts, and the people had T-shirts on that said staff. So I figured, okay, I'm going to go ask. And I asked, hey, is there any way we could get a little help getting a jump, And they got on their little walkie-talkies and said, and this kid said, yeah, I'll be over, what's the spot number and all that. And eventually he did come over with this
it only took him a few minutes.
Little tiny.
Yeah, this little itty-bitty box.
Little itty-bitty box.
It's nowhere near the size of a car battery.
I thought he'd be rolling up in one of his little golf carts and hauling this thing out, but no.
He hooks this thing up to my battery, and instantly, the car started like it never had a dead battery at all.
So Conkys got to get
so
one.
we got to find one of those and just take it with us to the flea market.
So we were delayed like 15 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
From our leave, and we took a nice leisurely drive back home. But we were tired. And we were kind of on the hungry side because all we took with us was like 8 bottles of water and 4 Lunchables. And luckily enough, we were far, far away from the good treats. We didn't smell them because if that had been the case,
the Amish donuts or anything.
Oh no, because if we'd been anywhere near that, that could have been dangerous. And you want fair food? It's there. It's there at Rogers.
So on the way back, we kind of looked for a place to stop and get something to eat, but like the better places were closed, and like we could have stopped at McDonald's. Like, no, I'm not eating that crap.
No. So we just ended up at home, and
so we came home, and Eddie was so glad to see us.
Yeah, the poor dog had been.
Yeah, he'd been alone since like 5:30 in the morning.
And then I ate a bowl of cereal.
I ate, I think, a package of crackers or something.
And then we crashed. I went to lay down, and we
laid down at, I think, 4:45.
Yeah, because
and got it. Or excuse me.
Maybe it was a little bit of time we had.
We laid down for an hour and a half and got up at 5:15. So 3:45 we laid down.
Yeah,
and got up at 5:15.
We had to take showers. We had to get cleaned up,
or something like that.
Make our way down to Mayor Dan's for the 4th of July party, and we stopped at the store so I could pick up.
Yeah, we didn't want to show up.
You gotta take something.
So we took some brownies.
And of course you texted Mayor Dan as we were getting ready to leave the store.
Well, I texted him and I said, I may be running a few minutes late. If Jeremy gets there first, don't give him my hot dog at 6:31 because we were supposed to get there at 6:30. So we did get there at 6:31, but luckily Jeremy pulled in after us, and I was able to secure my food before Jeremy ate it all.
And let me tell you what a spread it was.
Oh my God! First of all, there were 2 grills there when we got there. Okay, and it didn't seem to be enough. So what's he do as the mayor? He jumps on his little tractor and goes and comes back with a grill. Now, where he went to get this grill and who he stole it from, I still don't know. But I guess it's good to be the mayor, and you can just go get what you want.
It was, Jeremy showed up, and Kaylin showed up, and of course you start chit-chatting with people. We got to meet Cousin Barb. She was a hoot. She was YouTube gold, guys.
Yeah, she was YouTube gold. You've got to be a member to Jeremy's channel and watch his
live
members only live last night.
Oh my God, it was wild.
I told a story there that I would not tell even on my channel of what I did one Halloween.
And speaking of Halloween, we got to see the hearse, the infamous Mayor Dan hearse. We got to see
and
that.
I'd seen it before, but he'd never been able to show it to me. So he actually got to show us the hearse last night.
It was cool. I mean, it did creep you out a bit because you're like, okay.
Well, I mean, he had a casket in the back.
There was a casket. Yeah. He had little angry, ugly babies. It was perfect. If you wanted a Halloween vehicle, there you go. Yeah. Beautiful paint job. I'll give it that. I thought that.
I think the paint job was on it when he bought it. I think that was already on.
But yeah, it's definitely a creepmobile. And
something that Mayor Dan would drive.
I would be. I just got.
Well, first of all, you can't drive this thing to just anywhere because you can't drive it anywhere you park it where somebody's going to bang into the side of it.
Guarantee it.
Because the side of this thing is it's creepy in one hand and it's beautiful in the other. It's got like a myriad of like skulls and just like ghosty things all up and down the side, and one door ding would just like ruin the whole thing.
Yeah. It's perfect for its intent.
Yeah, so the paint job is already on it. So I think he like drives it to haunts and drives it to shows and stuff like that, where you get to park around other people who respect your vehicle and not like the grocery store with like soccer moms banging their doors into your.
So after the good eats and the good laughs, around 9:30, it was time for fireworks.
Well, no, I still got to talk about the food.
Oh, the food. Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
So I hadn't eaten anything but a part of a Lunchable minus the cookies.
Did he tell you that, guy?
Yeah, I told him that story, and the maybe a little bit of crackers when I got home. So I made a nuisance out of myself there.
How many hamburgers?
I was an absolute pig.
I
had 2 hamburgers, a hot dog, and these are the big hot dogs. 2 hamburgers, a hot dog.
Yeah, Jeremy brought his big hot dogs.
Yeah, a bag of like Cheetos, multiple pieces of fruit, a brownie, and I think 2 or 3 at least 2 cupcakes.
I mean, the food was there. If you left there hungry, it was your own fault, as the old saying goes.
Yeah, and by the time fireworks rolled around, I was good and full. But I made sure I ate like somebody hadn't eaten all day.
I enjoyed some rigatoni with meat sauce on. It was very good.
The Mayor Dan, we enjoyed the food, we enjoyed the fireworks, we enjoyed the company. We really
wonderful.
Appreciate you guys opening up your home and your family gathering for somebody like us.
But yeah, it was a good, was a half hour, I would say. Just fireworks literally in your face.
Yeah, like the screen, what do you call it? The thumbnail was a like just a random second of a fireworks show. And it wasn't one of those where you light a fuse and back off and light a fuse. This guy had all this stuff is all wired,
all set
to
up,
like these control panels,
timed.
And he was just like the guys are just like flipping switches, I think, to get it to.
It was beautiful. It was like in your face. I mean, up close and personal. It was really very cool, very cool, very enjoyable. And the mosquitoes enjoyed it too.
Well, yeah. By the time the fireworks show rolled around, the mosquitoes were getting a little aggressive. And after the fireworks, and they were eating Jeremy more than they were eating anybody else. They loved him.
Hello, Jeremy.
But after the fireworks, I mean, we hate to eat and watch fireworks and run, but. Yeah. We our poor dog had been home. Oh, and driving home
was like you know how here's the idea I had. Okay, I don't know if you guys did this when you were kids or not, but you know how your parents are like piling in the car, you just drive around neighborhoods and look at all the Christmas outdoor decorations? You know what you can do on 4th of July now is get on the car around 9:30 and just drive around and watch everybody's fireworks display.
I'll tell you what, driving home. We were driving home from Mayor Dan's, and we went, instead of like getting off in the falls and sneaking through the roads, I said, I'm just going to stay on the freeway because it's something in my mind said it was better to be on the freeway. Mm-hmm. So we get up close to the central interchange, and we're driving the pickup truck because the car's still hitched up to the trailer.
Windows are down.
Windows are down, and we're just like enjoying the sulfur smell everywhere. We got to catch the
tail end.
The tail end of we actually got to catch the finale of the City of Akron's fireworks.
That was pretty cool.
And when about the time we got to where the central interchange was, like a fire chief's car was coming down the last entrance ramp before the the interchange. And I could see him coming, like, toward my rear mirror. I said, all right, on the freeway, you do not pull over and stop for these guys. You just, like, blend in with traffic and let them do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So I was already ahead of him, so I sped up so I'd be in front of him so he could get up behind me and then pass me if he wanted to. Mm-hmm. Well, there was a car in front of me that, I don't know what he was thinking, or the driver was thinking, but he gets all the way over to the right, and then decides he wants to go all the way over to the left like he's going to continue on 77 South. And I'm already in, like, the second from the right lane because I'm going to go 76 East. Gets up to a point where, like you know, the bridge is, and you really got to make a decision. Then he starts to cut over in front of me. And I'm like, oh, no, you don't. Since I was driving the truck and he was in some little Honda, I just pushed my foot to the floor and said, whatever happens is going to happen behind me. It's not going to happen in front of me. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how he missed me. But I snuck past him before he shot back over to the right. I don't know who was in control of this car, but they had no business with the driver's license.
Yeah.
So other than that, we got home safe and...
yeah, and then we crashed.
And then we went to bed. And I mean, we got up this morning because Eddie gets us up in the morning.
Yeah.
And I had all these plans of what I was going to do today. And I wound up sleeping until like 4 o'clock.
We slept all day, yeah.
That's why flea market's like a 2-day event. You got the day you go do it, and then you got the day to rest. But we slept, and I actually got what I wanted to get done today, which is I wanted to, Conkys cool. I wanted to fix a particular part of this car I was working on, and then I actually got something. I actually got the remote start figured out and got that working. So
that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So now we have touch a button,
the car starts.
Car just starts on.
So that brings us up to
now
the show.
Yeah, I slept a lot today too. I mean, I woke up this morning and my whole face was just puffy and headachy. I know eventually it did get to the point I had to take some Tylenol and lay down again. It was just, and of course it pumped right back up in the 90s and humid, and you know, I was out in the garage working, the sweat was just pouring off me. I did get done what I wanted to get done. Yeah, I think I got up officially. I was up for a while, then I lay down, got for a little bit. It was just I pretty much didn't do jack all day.
Well, I mean, I hate to keep bringing up poor Edward down there, but he was alone most of the day yesterday, and we just wanted to hang out with our dog today.
Yeah, it was more like hanged out while he napped with us. Is what it was. Yeah. He just napped with us, and a couple times. I mean, it was getting around dinner time for him. He's sitting there doing his little pawing at you. He was trying to get me up to get out of bed to feed it. I just could not do it. I think I even just told him, "No, let me sleep." So I feel a little better now, though. You know, my eyes are but at least I don't have the headache. I got rid of that. But yeah. So we overdid it yesterday.
Way overdid it.
It was a lot of fun.
Well, that was we were kind of. Mayor Dan had invited us over at a week earlier at the meet and greet, and I really wanted to go, but as the flea market approached, it's like I don't know if we're going to be able to make it to Mayor Dan's because we're getting up so early to get down there, and we know how we feel after a day of flea marketing, and to drive back in a car with no air conditioning, I was like, we were just extra beat when we got home.
But we did have enough. We got a little refreshed, and we were able to make it. That's what we were kind of afraid to commit right away.
It was just nice that we were able to lay down for an hour and a half and take a nap and get up somewhat refreshed. I was like, well.
And we were smart this time. We took our tent canopy, so we were
we were under
directly
the tent
under the sun like we kind of were at Hartville.
Well, and the difference between Hartville and Rogers is on Hartville we were on blacktop everywhere. Mm-hmm. Rogers, it was a gravel driveway, and we were on grass, and that made a huge difference in the amount of heat that we were sitting.
We brought suntan. We brought the.
Well, I didn't put any suntan lotion on, but I did sit under the.
I had on the back of my neck because as I was setting up my table, I could still start feeling like I was baking. But it was a successful trip down there. It was a wonderful evening. It was probably one of the nicest 4th of Julys I've spent in a long time.
And it was nice because when we went to Mayor Dan's, he said we were actually able to just sit there and relax and enjoy, and we didn't have to lift a finger. One of was it his sons that was cooking, or who was?
I think it was his son-in-law.
Son-in-law was cooking the food, and we almost had rabbit, but. Apparently, Jeremy had made an offer on the rabbits, but he, being a cheapskate, did not offer enough.
Yeah,
he
was messing. So, he was messing with his with Mayor Dan's granddaughter Skylar. Well, we'll buy those rabbits. We can have those. And
yeah. Well, I mean, it just came down. It came down to money. He didn't offer enough. So, but you've got to watch his.
If you're a member and
his members only figure out how
watch
much
those. Good. Yeah. It was just a wonderful evening, and I think the hot spot besides the fireworks was Cousin Marv. She was a hoot.
Yeah.
She was a hoot. I mean, she was up for it.
Well,
I mean, sometimes when you put that camera up, like, no, but she she rolled with it.
She could have her own YouTube channel.
She rolled with it.
Yeah, she had Jeremy turning red. Okay.
Oh gosh, but yeah, it was a crazy week. I'm hopeful that next week's a little more
quieter and cooler.
I got a lot to do.
We haven't had rain in a while here, so we may get a little rain cooling things down.
I've blown through all my eBay listing banks, so I'm back to zero. So
you got to start.
I got to get back to work. And that was another wonderful thing that Conky did last week. Was I now have another full set of shelves in the spare room. So now I have to take time this week and definitely get some stuff into bins and in those shelves now.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second. I just want to address. We did not forget about Boss Babes.
No,
there was a family event that happened in Christian's life that patients and Christians were not going to be able to attend Boss Babes, and they were not going to be able to do their whatnot. So Deanna and George had to do
that
it.
Slot.
And it was down to, let's just. It was a decision made
to bump the show ahead an hour, and I'm like, well, I did have to take my stepmom to an appointment, and we just thought it was just too much at one point. So we passed this month, but we will definitely do it the next Wednesday, the first Wednesday in August. So we apologize for that. Just sometimes.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate last-minute decision that we had to.
It was just scheduling, wasn't.
Not like the last time we did the basket babes, where we did forget.
We did forget. No, this time it was just just a lot going on Wednesday there, and of course prayers to Christian, his family. I mean, he lost his grandmother. I'm sure some of you may have known that already, but they had to do the funeral and all that. Yeah. So prayers to him and his family and.
But back to the shelves.
Back to the shelves. Yes.
I did buy a bunch of 2x4s, and on was it Facebook? I found like 35 pieces of 1/4-inch plywood that were 44 by 44 inches across, square. I got them for $1 a piece, and those between the plywood I bought and those, I was able to build a really nice set of shelves to hold 30 of the clear bins that we keep our eBay stuff in.
And now he made a spot down here for another bin because he sold that.
Yeah, I sold that big truck that was sitting on the eBay bins.
There's a
so we have plenty of room to expand our eBay listings.
Mm-hmm. And we got a lot of reorganization we got to do between now before it gets cold again, but. We're getting things more organized with regards to the eBay business. Yeah. Yes, we are. So we're really happy about that. It was just a good, solid, productive week this week. That's all it really was.
So we should talk about the state of the bread now.
State of the bread.
What is the state of the bread? It's a little late for 8:34. We usually do that at 8:30. So what's the state of the bread, everybody?
What is the state?
Put your guesses in. What you think the bread looks like. It's sitting right there.
Yeah, he's got the bread. So let's hear some guesses.
Who wants to guess what the state of the bread is? Edward's in with the first guess. He says the bread is half gone. Who's got their guesses on the state of the bread? I got to answer. Lenny had a question earlier about Nintendo, and I don't know if I have any Nintendo games sitting around. But I'll text him later.
Yeah, I'll text him.
Bread is half gone. 3 slices left. Full loaf, says Alan. Half a loaf, says Christine. New loaves, Caroline, which is the same as a full loaf, which is what Christine said. 2 slices gone, half gone. half loaf, and 1 sandwich for each of you. A full loaf, 4 slices left, half loaf.
Well,
there's some correct guesses in there.
There's some correct guesses.
There's some correct guesses because this morning, even though I sort of skipped breakfast, the loaf that we had,
I pulled it out and took one look. It was like, I would say it was probably about 40% left of that bread, and unfortunately it had started turning green. And I looked at him and I said, you know what, I'm going to have to get a fresh loaf rising. So I did get it in the oven to rise, and then you eventually baked it. So
I guess the answer is,
yeah,
the ones who said full loaf were correct.
So he has breakfast tomorrow morning. Bread for breakfast tomorrow morning, because we definitely will be having breakfast tomorrow morning. So
yeah,
yeah. But today we were just wiped out.
Well, we were just completely wiped out until I finally got up and.
Yeah, I got up about. I would say I got up about 5:30, and the headache was gone. So I was, because we were debating whether we were going to do a show tonight, because we were just both kind of like, But we're here.
We are here after several naps, and so we have. We have some. I guess we call this mail.
I guess we could call this Conkys
I'm going to pick this up, and first of all, we got a card here. We actually got this a couple weeks ago.
And
we kept forgetting about it. It is. Let me get it out of there. It's so tight in the thing. It's a Christmas card. It says Happy New Year. Thank you, YouTube 2025. Love. Rem Roscoe.
So we got your card.
We got your card.
I don't know if this went on a tour of the United States Postal Service.
That sometimes happens
with
the mail, and they have the nerve to raise the rates. But we've got
your Christmas card.
Christmas card.
So we're kind of like halfway,
Yeah. Christmas in July. Here we go.
Thank you so much, Rem. Thanks for thinking of us during the holiday season, and I'm sorry the USPS kind of
probably lost your card, and
lost your card.
I bet you sent it in time, and they just
yeah,
they just deliver it when they felt like it.
Stuff gets stuck and lost.
We've mailed postcards home from vacation. They've beaten us home, and then we have this. So we talked about the little train that we got at the meet and greet
from,
and we didn't know where it was, and we found it. So that's the Mattel my first wheels.
Yeah, we
train.
think it has something to do with Hot Wheels, and this is really the first wheels you give to your toddlers and stuff. So
that's neat. And then Jeremy had brought a package from Robo Trip, hit New Hampshire, but then took two-day tour.
Yeah.
So somebody sent this to Jeremy, and I remember seeing him unpackaging on his live, and it was for Conkys, he said. And that's the name, and I don't have my glasses on.
It says...
Is it Obi?
Obi O'Brien. So Obi O'Brien sent Conkys this really nice
cast iron. Should probably turn the light on. Yeah. This really nice cast iron sedan from, I'm guessing the 20s or 30s.
Yeah, probably late 20s or 30s.
So that is really neat.
That is neat. So thank you,
and it's heavy too.
Oh yeah,
you could use this for a paperweight, or maybe. Well, I mean, it rolls on wheels. If you put it down right, you can maybe use it for a doorstop.
But we just want to thank the fans who are so kind and generous with us. So Rem, thanks for your car. Sassy Mama, thank you for the little gifts you gave us when you came up for that meet and greet.
And Obi, thank you for
the cast iron vintage car.
Iron toy. And thank you, Jeremy, for delivering it to us.
Yes.
We actually got this.
You got some stuff from Jeremy too. Did you bring it?
Yeah, it's upstairs in the truck. Jeremy gifted me some Hot Wheels from probably a unit he got down there, still in the package, like the McDonald's.
Right. Yeah, I think I saw the video where he was unpackaging all those toys and stuff that he found in this unit in Florida. So So thank you. We appreciate you guys' support. We appreciate you guys spending your time with us on Saturday. So if we don't say it enough, thank you.
Yes, we are grateful.
We are very grateful.
For everything, including, you just sitting here and watching us.
Just banter with each other.
Say whatever comes to our mind about our week.
Get a little sugar. Yeah.
J&J Finds is here. Yeah,
we talked about the lovely finds.
I don't have those down here. Those are still upstairs in a little toy box.
It wasn't small, guys.
It was a pretty big toy box. And they did make it home without me.
Sorry I missed you guys. Unfortunately, I had another commitment, so I couldn't go. I mean, I drove by. Believe it or not, I did drive by.
You should have honked.
It was over here. I was at the intersection of Portage Trail and Northampton Road, and I was taking my stepmom. We were going to go get some lunch.
Could have taken her to the auction.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to smell cat pee?
In fact, I drove her car because our car. It's funny, of the cars that don't have air conditioners, the two cars that do the car and the truck that do drive. So
yeah. So the other one's drive, which is not allowed to drive yet.
But we actually took her in her car, so I made sure she had air conditioning.
Now, one of the things that I talked about last week was this car that I bought that was in the thumbnail from a couple weeks ago that was wrecked. I bought a few parts off of it, and I talked about those, last week. I had another really, I don't know how to explain it, really stroke of good luck. I was fumbling around on the Pull Apart website, and I noticed that they had just gotten one into their Canton location that was the same color as mine. So I jumped in the truck and I ran down there, and sure enough, they hadn't smashed up the fender yet. So I was able to unbolt the fender, and I got that off. And I needed the front bumper bar reinforcement, so I got that. And I was able to cut a piece off the inner fender that I needed, and I got that, and I got the headlight bracket. So now all I need to buy is a headlight and I think one fog light.
Yeah.
But another thing that I got that was really, I consider a blessing is, when I bought this car, I noticed it had a little switch under the hood, a little plunger switch, so when you shut the hood, it like closes the switch. And it had an antenna up on the windshield. And I thought, that must be a remote start. But I didn't get the remote start button that you need, the key fob. Well, this car that they had just gotten in, now normally when they get these cars in, the keys aren't in the cars, or if they are, they only last a day or two. Well, not only was the key in the car, which I didn't need, but the remote, that car had a remote start too, the same style that mine has. So I just grabbed the remote start button and I threw it in my toolbox. So as I was checking out, the guy goes along and he does the little dots, and he basically says, what do you got here? So I made sure I told him I got the remote start out of this car, that I've got a key fob. It was only $2.95, which I hate to think of what I'd have to pay for this thing, buying it from Subaru. But I got home, and that was one of the things I did today, is I figured it out, and I got it working.
Yeah, and
so now I've got a fully functional remote start on this.
So say your prayers. My car, the one that's supposed to replace the one that got smashed up in that windstorm around New Year's, goes for its state inspection Friday. So prayers that passes, and that way I can start driving that car. You get the car I've been driving back, and then you get, because you said you got some stuff you got to do on the
I've got to work on both the cars.
Right, so we're getting back to where we'll have vehicles again.
Yeah, we'll have vehicles, and when I get this one inspected, the one that I just got, it's not going to take me that long to put it together because the damage was light. Yeah. So I'll have that together here like in the next week or so. And it'll probably get its inspection in August, and I'll be driving that while I'm working on the other two cars.
Yeah, because it's costly to drive the pickup truck around, and then he's been driving that around for the last few months for work and everything. So this will be a little help for us. So
plus her cousin, the car we loaned her cousin, we're just gonna sign over to her so she has a decent. I mean, it's not really it's not the best car in the world, but it's decent. It'll get her through until
she just needs
something nicer
to get to work and back.
So this new one's going to be the spare car for us, but I thought I'd bring up that I've been getting really, really lucky as bad as it was trying to put her car together, the Forester, where everything was just such a pain. Everything on this one is just slipping into place like it should. Like everything's been really, really easy, and not difficult at all. So, I just consider that
it's a blessing.
Really
it's a blessing, because it's. I mean, that was just crazy when all that happened at the end of December there.
When the car got smashed and the house got smashed, and we're still dealing with the insurance company and the roof.
I mean,
I'm about ready to just switch everything from State Farm to another company, and go with another company. This is just ridiculous. The house is fixed, but the roof doesn't match.
The shingles don't match.
I don't pay all this money in insurance to have a roof that looks like a joke.
Because State Farm does get a nice chunk of business from us between.
And I'm about ready to say, you know what, you win, but goodbye.
Yeah.
I'll switch my insurance to somebody else.
Right.
So it's 8:46. We have to order dinner because we haven't really eaten. Today is going a little like yesterday as far as the food goes. Woke up late. I've had a lunch bowl and a package of crackers, and that's about it. So
unfortunately, we don't have the food fare that Mayor Dan had. But
I'm about ready to jump in the truck and have Mayor Dan's for some leftovers.
There's leftovers.
Mayor Dan, you got a couple extra hamburgers and hot dogs and maybe some.
Oh, and they were really good. I didn't get a hamburger. I didn't get that far. I was loving the rigatoni, and I was being good about it, because I made an
absolute nuisance out of myself.
My system's a little off right now, so I'm going to get it back on track starting tomorrow. So,
I mean, I was a pig yesterday.
But you were hungry.
I was hungry. That's why
all you had was a few slices of cheese and turkey.
Like, well, look at all these hamburgers and hot dogs stacked on this plate, and then people aren't in here for seconds or thirds. Get out of my way.
You mean we're 4 hours from the motherland? John Panetta. Oh my God. Oh, one of the funniest comedians. I mean, he was a large fellow. I mean, there was no doubt about it. And he was talking about, how he was.
Well, he was talking about how he was in
a movie that was filming in France.
But and he wanted to go get Italian food somewhere. And they were telling him, for the whole time he was there up to the last few days, and he, I guess he didn't really know geography that well. He said, "I really want to go," and they're like telling him there's like no Italian restaurants in France. Finally, somebody says, "Why don't we just go to Italy? It's just right up the road." He's like, it's like twitching. Yes, why don't we? You mean we were 2 hours from the motherland and you didn't tell us?
Well, let's face it. It's one of those things.
It's a really funny routine.
It's an American thing because America, we got our states. We go from state to state to state, and we don't think about it. But we go over to Europe. There's countries there. And you think country. Wow, country. No, they're the size of our state. So you can hop here, there, and But that was funny. He goes, we were 2 hours away from the motherland.
It's a really funny routine if you get a chance to check it out.
And then he starts to sing an Italian song. La 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 la.
Get out of my way.
And then then they went to the Italian restaurant and
he's like, I'd like to order, please. No, first we're going to bring you some food.
He was in Italian food heaven, and the chef there loved him.
Yeah.
And
we won't ruin it for you. It's still funny, even though
it's on YouTube. John Panetta.
Here's the thing. We went to see Sam Kinison, and he later died. We went to see John Panetta, and he later died. And so we just got to the point where we don't want to go see comedians anymore because we don't want them. We don't want anything to happen to them.
No. Because they're so far and few these days. You know what I mean? But that was funny. I mean, really.
But there are some funny. There's a guy on YouTube named Jerry Wayne.
Oh my goodness!
He does the truck anatomy things, and he's pretty funny.
He did one recently on the different types of motor oil people buy, and he does this little his little take on, what type of people buy this particular oil, what type of oil. It was funny. Yeah, he's got that good old boy talk about going on. Yeah, you buy this oil, you but me.
And then there's, I think his name's Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy.
Funky Fluffy.
Yeah.
Fluffy,
no,
Funky.
not Funky.
No,
Fluffy.
Funky.
That's somebody different.
It's Fluffy Iglesias, yeah. I'm not fat, I'm fluffy.
So
we look at Ace sometimes and go, no, he's not fat, he's just a little fluffy.
He's awake down there and knows we're talking about him.
Oh, yes, he does. And he was really happy today. We've been home with him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he was very affectionate yesterday. We got home, he's like,
That's why we said Sir Edward Licksalot.
Sir Edward Licksalot. And like we tell him, I said, honey, mommy, dad, we got to go get that Bill Jack money. Yeah. That Bill Jack ain't cheap. It ain't free.
$10 a bag. Somebody's got to
Gotta get that. Oh, yeah, look at that. Like, you ain't been sleeping all day.
He's been relaxing. He probably slept all day yesterday.
Yeah. And luckily, he does not get nervous with the sound of fireworks going off because, we live in neighborhoods. So we got all. It's like a little war zone. I'm sure it'll be a little tiny bit of a war zone tonight. But, yeah. It was a wonderful 4th of July. I wouldn't mind living that day over again. So, and those fireworks, Disney's fireworks.
Yeah, Disney didn't have nothing.
Pretty extraordinary.
Fireworks last night.
But those fireworks at Mayor Dan's house last night.
Well, I think Jeremy might have filmed them, so you probably see him on one of his, at least some members.
But it was a beautiful day. And we thank all 76 of you guys checking out with us tonight. We hope you had a beautiful day yesterday. Definitely prayers go out to Texas. That was tragic to hear about that poor girls' camp and everybody that was affected by that flash flood. You're in our prayers. And
Jane Lord just got here.
Jane Lord, good to see you in the chat. Good to see everybody here. Everybody, Mr. Whitty, good to see you.
I guess Mr. Whitty just had his dog fixed.
Well, that's a good thing to do.
That's a good thing.
You do that when they're 6 months old, so you don't get the knock on the door. You're responsible finding homes for half these puppies.
He would be the one knocking, I think. Isn't his dog a girl?
Oh, I forget.
I think his dog is a female.
Okay, yeah. Well, then you don't.
So he'll be the one knocking.
I'll never forget.
On other people's doors.
I remember we used to let our dogs run loose when we were kids. I know that's changed a lot, but I remember one time. Our dog got loose, and the neighbor called us and said, I just want to let you know, your dog just had a little intimate affair going on over here. I'm like, oh no. But she only ended up with Snooky. That was it. Only
she has her cone, so it's a little girl doggy.
Okay, little girl. Okay, I'm sorry. Sunshine, of course.
So he's going to be the one knocking on other doors. Not
now.
Yeah.
No.
That's been taken care of.
That's important to do.
That's part of being a responsible pet owner.
Right, unless you're an AKA AKC breeder, then that's one thing. But if you're not, and it's just a good thing.
Yeah. Edward's never going to be a father.
No, never will be a father. No. I don't think the world could take any more of him. Anyway, so. all that licking.
Lots of tongue.
Lots of tongue. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to let you get back to your Saturday night. Thank you so much for checking us out. And, of course, we'll be back here next Saturday, 8 o'clock as normal, because we just never know what's going to happen in Conkys Flippin' Adventures.
No,
good night, you guys. Take care.
Oh.